The mountains of Helmand province stood black against a starless sky. No moon, no light, only the green glow of night vision and trace of fire cutting across the darkness. August 2011, 0342 hours. SEAL Team 3 moved through narrow mud brick walls when the ambush hit like a thunderclap. Before we go deeper, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because this story is intense and unforgettable. The attack came from everywhere at once. Bullets chewed into the compound wall above Master Chief Garrett Vance, spraying dust and fragments over his helmet. His men were scattered across open ground, nearly 50 meters of exposure, while enemy fire converged from 3 directions. Commander James Hawkins was pinned behind a disabled Humvee, trying to hold the team together as RPGs screamed in from the ridgeline and a PKM machine gun hammered them from the north wall. Garrett demanded a situation report, and Hawkins responded that they were bracketed and stuck. Garrett instantly identified the problem: a machine gun nest on the north wall with perfect fields of fire controlling the entire kill zone. Extraction would not land in that chaos. They had only minutes before enemy reinforcements arrived and turned it into a massacre. Garrett made the decision that separates warriors from survivors. He ordered Hawkins to move the team to secondary extraction while he suppressed the north wall. Hawkins tried to stop him, ordering him to extract together, but Garrett refused. He stayed calm, told Hawkins to get his men out, and then tried to say one last thing about his daughter. An RPG streaked into the compound. The blast erased sound, light, and thought. Hawkins slammed into the Humvee, ears ringing, vision swimming. When his sight returned, the north wall was burning. Garrett's radio was dead. Silence. But the machine gun had stopped firing. Enemy movement shifted, confused, and scattered. A window opened in the smoke, paid for by Garrett's life. Hawkins made the hardest call of his life and ordered all elements to move to secondary extraction immediately. 7 men ran through fire and dust. 1 stayed behind. 13 years later, Commander James Hawkins stood at the memorial wall at Naval Amphibious Base Coronado. Morning sunlight spilled over the Pacific. Names in granite stared back like ghosts. Hawkins was 62 now, worn down by decades of war, but nothing had carved into him like that night. He touched one name with his fingers and felt the cold stone under his skin. It read Master Chief Garrett Vance, SEAL Team 3, killed in action August 14, 2011. Hawkins whispered that he got them out, all 7. A young female voice came from behind him and called him by rank. Hawkins turned and froze. A young woman stood in navy dress whites with perfect posture, steady eyes, and a face that looked painfully familiar. Blonde hair and a regulation bun, sharp cheekbones, and the same blue-gray eyes Garrett had. Her name was Lieutenant Allura Vance, Garrett's daughter. She stepped beside him and stared at her father's name. She said she counted every story her father told, and he came home 847 times until the last one. Hawkins swallowed hard and told her father was the best SEAL he ever served with. Allura said she knew, and that Hawkins wrote her a letter when she was 13 explaining how her father saved the team. She then said she could see Hawkins blamed himself for 13 years. Hawkins did not deny it. Allura said she was here to do her mission and not live in her father's shadow. Hawkins studied her and realized sending her away would protect her, but it would also insult everything her father stood for. He welcomed her to SEAL Team 3. At the K9 training facility, barking echoed off concrete. Master Chief Brennan Ashford waited with arms crossed. He was a legend in K9 operations, traditional and blunt. He told Allura they had never had a female K9 handler on a SEAL team because of practicality. Allura stayed calm and said she understood. Ashford brought up a file and explained they had a dog named Thor, a Belgian Malinois, 4 years old, the most aggressive canine he had seen in 25 years. Thor injured 3 handlers and crushed one man's hand. Command wanted Thor euthanized, but his explosive detection skill was phenomenal. Ashford told her she had 72 hours to prove the dog was salvageable. Allura asked to see the dog. They moved to the isolation kennel with warning signs about aggression and bite risk. Inside, Thor paced like a storm, muscles tight, teeth bared, amber eyes locked on them. But Allura did not focus on violence. She studied the body language beneath it and noticed the ears pinned back, the tail slightly tucked, and stress signals hidden between threads. She said he was terrified, not aggressive. Ashford dismissed it, but Allura noticed a small notch on Thor's right ear. Her heart stopped because she recognized it. 4 years ago, she trained a Malinois puppy who cut his ear on chain link. The vet told her he would always have a notch. That puppy's name was Odin. He was her dog. He was taken from her and sold to a contractor. Now he was here, renamed and broken. That night at 0200 hours, Allura returned alone. The kennels were quiet. Thor growled the moment he saw movement. Allura sat down 20 feet away, turned sideways, stayed still, and waited. After a long silence, she spoke gently in German, the language she trained Odin in. Thor froze. The growl faded into confusion. His nose worked the air. Allura pulled out an old t-shirt she had kept for years, worn and unwashed, still holding her scent. She tossed it near the kennel. Thor stepped forward slowly, nose pressed to the fence, tail twitching like he did not trust his own memory. A soft whine escaped him. Allura moved closer and extended a hand. Thor pressed his nose through the gap and licked her fingers. In that moment, Thor disappeared, and Odin came back. The next morning, 40 SEALs gathered to watch. A vet stood ready with a dart gun. A corpsman had a medical kit open. They expected blood. Allura approached with no protective gear and no bite sleeve. Ashford warned her again, but Allura said protective gear communicates distrust. Thor snarled and paced. Allura sat down outside the kennel and turned her back to him. Silence stretched. Then she whispered one word in German, commanding him to lay down. Odin laid down. The crowd froze. Allura opened the kennel gate and stepped inside. Odin tensed for one terrifying second, then launched forward to reunite with her. He whined and shook and pressed his head into her like a lost child finding home. Allura hugged him and whispered that she was here and would not leave again. Someone in the crowd asked if his name was really Thor. Allura said no. His name was Odin, and she trained him since he was 8 weeks old. Then she proved control with perfect obedience and synchronization. Hawkins ordered an obstacle course run. Allura agreed. Odin ran like lightning through every obstacle with no hesitation and no faults. Ashford checked the stopwatch twice and announced the time was 4 minutes 32 seconds, 48 seconds under the facility record. The crowd erupted with respect. But Hawkins took her to his office and told her they had intelligence on a domestic threat. He showed her a photo of Donovan Cade, an explosives expert and former Army Ranger planning an attack on Naval Base San Diego during a change of command ceremony with 300 people attending. Then Hawkins delivered the final blow. Cade's devices were linked to the IED that killed Garrett Vance. Cade sold his designs to both sides for money. Hawkins said they had 48 hours to stop him. Allura felt revenge rise, but she forced herself to breathe and asked for the mission. Hawkins explained it would be a raid near the border to capture Cade if possible and use lethal force if necessary. He told her he could not order her to join due to personal connection and offered her the option to recuse. Allura looked at Odin sitting calm beside her. She said they were operational, not because of her father, but because 300 people deserved to go home safe. That night, the team inserted under night vision. Odin led the approach and detected tripwires, mines, and pressure plates. Cade turned the approach into a trap, but he never planned for a dog. At the compound, Odin alerted on a van loaded with explosives. The front door was rigged, so the team breached through a window. They neutralized 2 armed men and cleared rooms while Odin continued to detect explosive threats. Inside, they found a full IED workshop and maps of Naval Base San Diego. Cade was not inside. Odin scratched at the floor and revealed a hidden hatch leading to a tunnel system toward Mexico. Hawkins ordered Allura and Thorn to pursue while the rest of the team secured the site. Allura gave Odin the tracking command and followed him into the tunnel. Deep inside a chamber, they found Donovan Cade holding a hostage with a pistol pressed to her head. Allura raised her rifle, but had no safe shot. Cade threatened to kill the hostage if they moved. Cade recognized Allura as Garrett Vance's daughter and mocked her, admitting he designed the IED that killed her father and got paid from both sides. Rage surged through Allura, but Odin whined softly, reminding her of the mission and the innocent life in front of her. Allura slowed her breathing and calculated the only possible shot, a 3-inch window of exposed skull at close range in low light. She steadied the rifle and fired one round. Cade dropped instantly. The hostage stumbled free alive. The mission ended successfully. Cade's phone provided codes and contacts. Arrest followed quickly and the planned attack was stopped. 300 lives were saved. During debrief, Allura admitted she felt anger and revenge when she pulled the trigger. Hawkins told her the question was never whether she felt anger, but whether anger controlled her or she controlled it. He then handed her the orders, making her the permanent K9 handler for SEAL Team 3, and Odin permanently partnered with her. Allura visited her grandfather at the VA home. He asked what she was thinking about in the split second before the shot. Allura said she was thinking the hostage did not deserve to die and she was the only one who could give her life back. Her grandfather said that meant she made the right choice. A few days later, Allura stood at the memorial wall again. Odin sat at attention beside her. She placed her father's trident beneath his name and placed her own K9 badge beside it. She whispered that she was not trying to become her father, but trying to honor him by protecting people who needed protecting and doing the job that needed doing. The team saluted. Odin lifted his paw slightly as if he understood. That evening, Allura walked along Coronado Beach with Odin running through the surf, chasing waves like a dog who finally came home. The sun sank into the Pacific and she felt something settle inside her. Not closure, but purpose. The nightmares would come, but so would the truth that 300 people would live because she did what needed to be done. If you want more powerful military stories like this, hit subscribe and comment Odin below, because there is always a next mission.